Dear students, we shall continue with your virtual class today. We shall continue with our chapter called Social Movements and Their Political Implications. We earlier saw about different movements regarding backward class, feminist movement, Dalit movement, etc. Today we shall do with labor movement. Laborers are those workers who invest their physical labor either on agriculture or industry. Who is a laborer? A laborer is a person who is doing unskilled manual work for wages, especially in the construction field, in the factory, maybe in the industries, maybe he is a farm laborer or a laborer working with blasting tools or small heavy equipments. A laborer may also work in mysterious conditions like mines, blasting tools, etc. are risky for their lives. Laborers are workers or the have-nots who do physical labor or who do physical work. The wages they get for their work is their livelihood. In fact, these laborers work for their livelihood. They get their wages. During this pandemic, the laborers were jobless, most of them, because there is no job security for them and many of them were not paid the wages. People were starving and many of the laborers have lost their lives. In most of the cases, they are not getting the minimum wages and they work under mysterious conditions, which many a time take their lives. Workers are not paid well. The profits are taken away by the owners. Workers are paid minimal wages for their work. At times, they work under mysterious conditions, like in the coal mines. For example, a baker. A baker bakes bread. He is using an oven, which is concentrated heat. His working hours are not very friendly. The profit margin is quite often very small. The worker usually works in the middle of the night because that is the time they can bake the bread so that they can supply it in the morning. But this affects their health. Another example, in the restaurants, people go to work early in the mornings or they work till late evenings. Most of these workers do not get a weekend holiday. They are paid less, nor do they get holidays. For want of congenial working conditions and adequate wages, they united together and went in for agitations. This was mainly for request for good working conditions, demand for adequate wages. They united and came together to the causes for labor movement. First one, interest of laborers. 2, negligence towards employees. 3, to get facilities. 4, welfare programs. 5, plight of workers in the unorganized sectors. Let us see what exactly the first point is about the interest of the laborers. The industrialists or the capitalists or the owners are exploiting the laborers by giving them less wages. These industrialists do not declare any bonus. They are made to work for more working hours. They are not given any medical facilities. These laborers are removed or dismissed from service as and when the requirement arises. To come out of this situation or to overcome this situation, they expressed their grievances. That is, the laborers expressed their grievances through agitations, and this led to the labor movement. In fact, in 1920, that was before independence itself, the All India Trade Union Congress was formed to protect the interests of the laborers. This was organized and it got legal recognition also by the British government. During that period itself, we had Karl Marx, Stalin, Lenin, who were the pioneers here, who led the agitations. In fact, Karl Marx said, "Unite the workers of the world. You are going to lose the shackles of slavery, but nothing else." Now coming to the second one, negligence towards the employees. Workers were not involved in the decision making because it was the responsibility of the apex body, and that is the capitalists or the owners of the factories or the haves. While taking decisions, the interests of the laborers are neglected. And this led to a hostile relationship between the capitalists and the proletariats or the workers. Now, the worker class united together and demanded for having a share in the decision-making process of the apex body. And this they did mainly to protect the interest of the laborers and improve their status. Third, to get facilities. The workers are doing monotonous work from morning to evening. They need a break in between. They need some relaxation. Maybe they can have a cup of tea or just walk around outside the factory or talk to each other. It relaxes their mind. The companies need to provide proper facilities for the men as well as for the women. They have to provide drinking water, a cafeteria, toilet facilities, restroom facility, creche for the babies, medical facilities, etc. Hence, for all these reasons, because all these were not being provided for the laborers, these movements started. Fourth, welfare programs. The fate of the companies depends upon the welfare and well-being of the workers. If the workers are healthy and work in congenial atmosphere and are paid satisfactorily, their efficiency also improves. They will have a motivation to work better. Hence, workers need to get social security measures like bonus, allowances, loan, free quarters, transportation, education facilities, workmen compensation, pension, family pension, etc. They came together and paved the way for labor movement. Fifth, the plight of workers. The plight of workers of the unorganized sectors. For example, Anganwadi workers. This is a government-sponsored child care and mother care development program in India at the village level. It primarily caters to the 0 to 6 children age group. Anganwadi came into existence since 1975 to combat child hunger and malnutrition. They provide basic services like nutrition, health, preschool education, etc. Now, supplementary nutrition. What does it mean? This is a nutritional component which varies from state to state, but usually it consists of a hot meal cooked at Anganwadi, and it is rich in pulses, cereals, oil, vegetable, sugar and salt. At times there is take home ration also. This is provided to children under the age of 3 years. For example, during the COVID time, ration was given to their houses by these Anganwadi workers. They also take care of their basic health care like immunization against polio, DPT and others. They also need to help the health staff to maintain records. There is this preschool education to provide a learning environment for children under the age group of 3 to 6 years. Anganwadi workers in fact covers a population of about 1,000 people, which means to say one worker is allotted 1,000 people. This itself shows how much they are exploited. They are made to work or made to do overwork. Overload of work is given to them. Say the agricultural laborers, they work on daily wages. They are exploited to the core. They are still fighting for their rights, and this agitation has led to a movement. Political implications of labor movement. To meet the demands of work and to provide welfare programs, the government has taken the following measures. The result of these agitations are that the government has taken a few measures to meet the demands of the workers. Constitutional measures. Part 4 of the Indian Constitution, which deals with the directive principles of state policy, directs the state governments to adopt socialist measures like equal pay for equal work for both men and women, to provide leave facilities for pregnant women for both prenatal and postnatal care. The concurrent list empowers the government to legislate on the workers' welfare. Now, Part 4 of the Constitution deals with the directive principles of state policy. In our Indian Constitution, there is a chapter, and Part 4 of our Indian Constitution deals only with directive principles of state policy. And this specifies, or rather gives directions to the lawmaking body to make laws within the directive principles of state policy, so that the government adopts the socialist measures like equal pay for equal work for both men and women. For example, in most of the places, men are paid more and women are paid less, whereas both of them are doing equal work. When they have done the same job, why are they made differences? So that is all man-made artificial discrimination. So now their demand is for equal pay for equal work, for which the Constitution has specified in the directive principles of state policy itself that equal pay should be paid for both men and women who have done equal work. Next, to provide leave facilities for pregnant women for both prenatal and postnatal care. Leave facilities has to be provided for pregnant women. Women who are pregnant will or can avail of the leave facilities as per the government laws before delivery and after delivery also. Earlier days, there was a specification which specified that pregnant women could take up 3 months leave. But nowadays, it has been increased to 6 months of total, prenatal and postnatal care. Next, the concurrent list empowers the government to legislate on the workers' welfare. Concurrent list, we have in India 3 lists: the central list, the state list, as well as the concurrent list. Whatever subjects are mentioned in the central list will be dealt with by the center only. Whatever subjects are mentioned in the state list will be dealt with only in the state. And whatever items or subjects which are mentioned in the concurrent list will have to be shared between the state as well as the center. Concurrent list empowers the government to legislate in the workers' welfare. Labor welfare falls within the concurrent list of the Constitution. Both the central and the state government can make laws on the subject. Several states have recently made significant changes in the labor laws in order to deal with the economic challenges posed by COVID-19. Second, the Government of India have made legislation on personal labor laws as follows. The labor laws of 1970 has fixed the wages of workers appointed on contract basis. The Workmen Compensation Act of 1903 was made. Then Salary Payment Act of 1936. Then we have the Weekly Holiday Act of 1942. Minimum Wages Act of 1948. Then comes the Employees State Insurance Act of 1948. The Employees Provident Fund Act of 1952, the Bonus Act of 1965. Some of the prominent labor organizations are the first one, All India Trade Union Congress, that is AITUC. The AITUC believes in a socialistic pattern of society. It started in 1920. It was working as a labor union and came under the grip of communists after independence. It aims at nationalization of industries, protection of labor rights, labor welfare, etc. A socialistic pattern of society existed. Socialistic pattern meaning where there is a classless society. There is no disparities between the haves and the have-nots. In the year 1920, it aimed at nationalization of industries, protection of labor rights, labor welfare, etc. Which means to say, they wanted to protect the rights of the laborers, they wanted to take care of the labor welfare, and after independence, this was taken away by the communists. The Indian National Trade Union Congress, INTUC. Some congressmen, due to ideological differences, came out of AITUC and started INTUC, which is got the support from the Congress party. Based on ideological differences, a few men from the Congress came out of the All India National Trade Union Congress, and they started their own Indian National Trade Union Congress. But this had complete support from the Congress party, which was also the ruling party during that period, that is May 1947. BHARATEEYA MAZDUR SANGH, BMS. It was founded by Dattapanth Thengdi for upholding the patriotic spirit among the labor population during 1955 on the birthday of Sri Bal Gangadhar Tilak. It is not affiliated to any International Trade Union Confederation. An estimated 5,860 labor unions affiliated to BMS, that is Bharatiya Mazdur Sangh, and it is one of the largest central trade union of India according to the statistics of the Ministry of Labour. The founder of Bharatiya Mazdur Sangh was Dattapanth Thengdi, and he started this on the birthday of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. This was mainly started to uphold the patriotic spirit among the labor population. There were 5,860 labor unions who were affiliated to the Bharatiya Mazdur Sangh, and this is one of the largest trade union in India as per the Ministry of Labour 2002 measures. The result of these agitations are that the government has taken a few measures to meet the demands of the workers. Constitutional measures. Part 4 of the Indian Constitution, which deals with the directive principles of state policy, directs the state governments to adopt socialist measures like equal pay for equal work for both men and women, to provide leave facilities for pregnant women for both prenatal and postnatal care. The concurrent list empowers the government to legislate on the workers' welfare. Now, Part 4 of the Constitution deals with the directive principles of state policy. In our Indian Constitution, there is a chapter, and Part 4 of our Indian Constitution deals only with directive principles of state policy. And this specifies, or rather gives directions to the lawmaking body to make laws within the directive principles of state policy, so that the government adopts the socialist measures like equal pay for equal work for both men and women. For example, in most of the places, men are paid more and women are paid less, whereas both of them are doing equal work. When they have done the same job, why are they made differences? So that is all man-made artificial discrimination. So now their demand is for equal pay for equal work, for which the Constitution has specified in the directive principles of state policy itself that equal pay should be paid for both men and women who have done equal work. Next, to provide leave facilities for pregnant women for both prenatal and postnatal care. Leave facilities has to be provided for pregnant women. Women who are pregnant will. Other major organizations: the Hind Mazdoor Sabha, the Hind Mazdoor Panchayat, United Trade Union Congress, and other organizations are struggling hard to protect the interests of the laborers. Totally, labor movements are trying to improve the welfare and standard of living of the workers. The success of these movements is seen through the government programs. The success of these programs or these movements, we can observe it in the government programs which we have discussed about in the earlier topic. The causes for labor movement. First one, interest of laborers. 2, negligence towards employees. 3, to get facilities. 4, welfare programs. 5, plight of workers in the unorganized sectors. Let us see what exactly the first point tells us about the interest of the laborers. The industrialists or the capitalists or the owners are exploiting the laborers by giving them less wages. These industrialists do not declare any bonus. They are made to work for more working hours. They are not given any medical facilities.